Welcome to Real Talk Fantasy Baseball. I am your host, Will Power. Joining with me today is Javi the Commish. What's up, Javi? How you doing, man?
Good. How are you
How's
doing,
it
sir?
in fantasy life for you?
Um, 2-0 so far. So 2-0 in my league, 1-0 in your league. I'm all right now.
Yeah,
These
I'm
damn
winning.
injuries, bro. These
Yeah, I know.
injuries.
That's what today's show is all about, right?
Yeah,
I'm
man.
actually doing pretty good, I think, in all my leagues. Like I was mentioning to you before the show, I actually have the most points scored in your league, but I'm 0-2, which doesn't make any sense, you know.
Yes.
But it's still early. I still got time to make up ground. You know, seeing that I do have the most points scored in your league, it makes me think like, all right, well, I had some bad luck in the last couple of weeks because I think you beat me in the first week, you know, and it was just a few points, and then the same thing last week. So,
Yeah.
I think that a couple more weeks, and I think I'll be,
You're
I
right to
think
ship.
I'll be safe, at least by the playoffs, you know, when they start. All
Yeah.
right, guys. Well, we got a full card stacked for today, so let's go ahead and get right into it. If it comes to the point where I see Matt Olson there, and I know that Bryce Harper and Pete Alonso are still waiting in the wings, like maybe a round or two later, I think I'm passing on Matt Olson.
Kept hearing home run after home run after home run. I was like, holy crap! Like, it's the old Altuve, you know.
I'm going after guys like Austin Riley that's going to hit close to 40 home runs with a decent batting average.
It has nothing to do with the luxury tax or any of that stuff, dude. It's just the owners want to bring a champion to a team. They're gonna do whatever it takes.
Today's episode is sponsored by Rival Fantasy, your all-in-one sports fantasy platform. Make sure to check out rivalfantasy.com or download the Rival Fantasy app using code RealTalkBaseball. Fantasy baseball is what our show is all about, and Rival Fantasy's unique sports betting platform includes best ball, fantasy bingo, daily and weekly drafts, and daily challenges. When you use the code RealTalkBaseball, Rival Fantasy will match your first deposit up to $200. And I don't know about you, man, but I'm actually pretty hooked on this on Rival Fantasy, man. I've been going on there every day doing the daily challenges. Sometimes you're gonna hit some daily challenges, and it's just like it's a little too lopsided. Like you'll have like Bobby Miller on one side, and then some like no name guy on the other side, or even like a batter. You know, so if you choose Bobby Miller to have more points for the day, a lot of times you're not going to have anyone betting against you. So
Yeah.
you know, you can deposit your money, you can bet $5 on that challenge, but if no one else challenges you back, then it ends up just going back into your account. So
Yeah.
you don't lose any money on that, so that's good. But so far I think I've won like $18. And I usually only bet like $1, $3, something like that. So
Yeah.
uh,
A win's a win, bro.
exactly. And throughout the
Yeah.
season, if I can at least break even or win a little bit, then I'm happy. You know, it's fun
Yeah.
just playing the games and stuff. So the fantasy bingo, that's what I'm kind of like most excited about now. I thought I was going to be more into the daily challenges, but the fantasy bingo is actually pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I still haven't messed around with it just yet. But eventually I will get in it. You know.
Yeah, man. So real quick, I just started the music, in the background. I just want to mention that my neighbor is having a tree cut down, and there's a lot of chainsaws in the background, which is why I just started the music right now to kind of like drown that sound out. So,
Yeah.
sorry in advance if you guys do hear some chainsaws in the back.
Yeah, I got a toddler in the background, so excuse
Yeah, so the music works out for both of us this time.
yeah.
All right, guys. So you see the ticker on the bottom there. Shane Bieber to undergo Tommy John surgery, out for the remainder of the 2024 season. Spencer Strider out with right UCL strain. And today we're going to be talking about starting pitcher replacements. But real quick, I do want to show this graphic that I made. Check this out, man. 2023 and 2024 Tommy John victims. Dre Jameson, Shane Boz, Dustin May, Luis Garcia, Jeffrey Springs, Tony Gonsolin, Tyler Malley, German Marquez, Walker Bueller, Liam Hendricks, Shane McClanahan, Robbie Ray, Felix Bautista, Sandy Alcantara, Jacob deGrom, and now Shane Bieber. And that's not even all of them, dude. Like, there's some other ones. Josiah Gray was just mentioned that he has a flexor strain. There was Framber Valdez came out and said that he has an elbow injury. So there's something going on, man.
Dude, and Strider, it looks like Strider is gonna be out for the season, bro. Like I was reading something that they're trying to get like another opinion on it and stuff, but I was reading something about that it might be season-ending surgery. Who knows? But that
really sucks.
Huge.
It really sucks because he is the number one SP in baseball. Currently, that would actually go to Corbin Burns because Corbin Burns has actually just been amazing. And now that he's on a team that actually gives him a little bit more run support, and they're just an overall good team in general, his value went way up. He's definitely the number one SP in my books. I don't think Ernie agrees with me because Ernie is a Corbin Burns hater. But you know what? I love Corbin Burns. So, man, this Tommy John epidemic, it's so crazy, man. Like, I hear different interviews from different players, pitchers, and batters, and I hear a lot of different opinions. And, some people like to blame the pitch clock, and some people like to blame that every guy is throwing 100 miles an hour. And, some guys are saying, well, it starts in Little League because these 10-year-olds are trying to throw as hard as they can, and they just get into that habit, get into that mode where it's just throw as hard as I can every single time, and that is a problem. I think that I agree more with the people that are saying that it starts with Little League because they see these guys that are making it to the big leagues and everyone throws 100 miles an hour now. You don't really see a lot of guys that are throwing their fastballs 91, 92 miles an hour. It's kind of rare to see those guys that actually rely more on their secondary pitches to actually beat a pitcher rather than just a flamethrower. Even the smaller guys like Spencer Strider. I think Spencer Strider's only like 5'9", but he's still throwing 99 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour. And on a smaller body frame like that, a lot of times these arms just can't handle it. You look at guys like Chris Sale, who is actually he's a bit taller than Spencer Strider. He's lanky. He definitely got some good whip on his pitches. The arm angle and everything, but these arms weren't meant to bend certain ways, and it just puts so much stress on that ligament and everything inside the arm that eventually something's just going to snap. Shohei Ohtani is another one that is only hitting this year. He's not pitching because of Tommy John surgery, and it's the same with hitters too, like Bryce Harper, Corey Seager. There's a lot of position players that are getting this surgery as well, not just pitchers. And it's a little harder on the pitchers. They have a longer recovery time because, they're supposed to go out and throw 100 pitches every time they come out every week. Whereas the position players, they're making plays, but they don't throw that hard every single game. Maybe it's like once every few games or, something like that, unless you're a third baseman or shortstop. Then it's like you're throwing basically every single day. And guys like Ellie De La Cruz that throws 100 miles an hour, a lot of times you're not seeing shortstops and third basemen throw that hard. But hey, he's got the frame for it. He's 6'7", and he has the long arms and long body. So that's just the way that he throws. And he's probably been like that since Little League. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually see guys like Ellie De La Cruz and O'Neal Cruz, guys that throw almost 100 miles an hour from the left side of the infield, having Tommy John surgery within the next few years. Both of those guys are really young, but just the amount of the velocity that they put on their throws, it's like basically like a pitcher. And because pitchers, they stay a little bit more limber, they have their bullpen sessions, they stay loose a lot. It's different for position players that only make these throws once in a while. So for pitchers, their arms should get used to it a little bit, but for position players, since they don't throw that often, it's like one day it's just snap, and then they're out for 6, 8, sometimes even 12 months. It's definitely a problem. I think that MLB needs to kind of like take charge and figure out exactly how to fix this problem. I don't know what they can do. The pitch clock has been named as something that's been something to blame, where Tyler Glasnow has said that the ban of the sticky substance, it's making guys throw harder, because they don't have the grip on the ball that they used to, or trying to get the rotation ball, the spin rate and all that. It's a lot easier to do that when you have a sticky substance, whether it's spider tack or sunscreen and rosin mixed together, whatever it is. But the I know that in the Japanese league they use pre-tacked balls, so they're already sticky. Maybe that's something that MLB can look into that will help a little with this pandemic. I kind of agree with guys like Justin Verlander that says that it's not just one thing, it's a combination of a lot of different things that is the reason for this Tommy John epidemic. So I really do think that Manfred needs to stop trying to make the game speed up, and cater to a younger crowd that has a shorter attention span. I think you need to worry more about the health of the players, and they have done a couple things, like you can't truck the catchers when you're running into home plate, that's for protection of the catcher. Same thing with sliding into second base. You try to break up the double play, but you can't make it so obvious that you're not sliding into the base. We actually saw Rhys Hoskins slide into second base. With Jeff McNeil, and Jeff McNeil got pissed off. But hey, what Rhys Hoskins did is actually within the rules of baseball, because he slid into the base. He didn't try to go, outside the baseline. So, stuff like that. It's helping players stay in the game, and be able to play every day, especially for the guys that are like, big time players. Like what if that happened to Mookie Betts, who is the best shortstop in the league right now, offensively? What if a player slides in and ends up injuring Mookie Betts, and something like that MLB actually has taken control and trying to remedy the situation, because of the Chase Utley play that happened years ago. He slid into second base, but he definitely didn't actually slide into second base. He was like 3 feet out. He was trying to take the guy out, and I understand why MLB had to change the rules like that, but now it's like we have another problem on our hands, and they need to figure this shit out, man. Oh, sorry. They need to figure this stuff out, because it's getting out of hand.
I think, my personal opinion, I think it has a lot to do with the pitch clock, simply because guys have to adjust their approach. A lot of these guys, their windup is different now from what it used to be. Some guys shorten up their I've seen a couple of guys, I don't remember who, but they shorten up their windup just so they can get the ball out of their hands before the pitch clock hits 0, right? So that's also like a different kind of movement that they're not used to, that could kind of mess with their mechanics, with their arm mechanics. But if you really think about it, all of this really started when they brought the pitch clock in. You didn't really see these many Tommy John surgery injuries like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. We just started seeing it when this pitch clock got implemented. Now, I don't want to say it's just the pitch clock, right? There's other factors, obviously, but I think that has a lot to do with a lot of these pitchers. Some of these pitchers aren't the same pitchers that they were 2 years ago. Alek Manoah, dude, that's a perfect example. He was a Cy Young voted pitcher, had a great season, and the year once they implemented that pitch clock, dude, what happened? He's in the minors right now.
Yep, and he's not doing good in the minors either.
No, he's stinking it up. And I mean, maybe it was something that he had to adjust. He has to adjust to, and he's just not it's just not clicking. So definitely the league has to look into it, man, because you're a fan first, right? You're a baseball fan first. You want to see these great pitchers out there. You know, the people that go to the stadiums to watch these guys pitch, man, they're paying to go watch, these all-star pitchers. And when you have guys like Spencer Strider that might be out for the season, Shane Bieber, who started great, man, he 20 strikeouts in 12 innings, bro.
He was my sleeper this year, man, and he was on his way. He was on his way, man.
And you feel bad for him, dude, because he's only 28.
Yeah.
And he's still young. I mean, it sucks, dude, because you're rooting for a guy like Bieber, right? Because everybody's kind of slept on him already. They figured, hey, you know what, his days are past. He's just gonna be like your average third guy in the rotation type of dude, whatever. Which he wasn't, obviously, but he starts off like the way he did, and then he gets hurt, and now he's out for the season, and now he's not gonna pitch maybe until what, 2026, maybe.
Yeah, maybe
middle 2025.
And isn't he a free agent after the season too? Hasn't he done his 6 years of service?
I believe so.
Yeah, so that just ruins his free agency right there. He's probably going to have to sign another 1-year deal with the Guardians, and just get through next season.
Prove his worth.
If I believe he already got the surgery a few days ago. I think they said on Monday. So since he already had the surgery and it's a year of downtime, he should be back by close to the beginning of next season. He probably won't be ready by opening day, but maybe a few weeks after. But he'll only be able to pitch maybe like 120 innings, if that, maybe a little bit more if they decide to push it. But why would they push it when the Guardians aren't even like contenders? I mean, they could be. You never know what's going to happen with the rest of the season. But now with Shane Bieber out, I really don't see them as contenders. They were even talking about trading Shane Bieber last season and the season before, even before he hits free agency. And now that's not going to happen, unfortunately for the Guardians. Maybe they should have done that trade towards the end of last season. That would have changed the dynamic of the World Series and the playoffs in general, depending on which team he would have went to. Imagine if the Diamondbacks actually made a push and traded for Shane Bieber last season before the playoffs. That would have made the World Series just a little bit more interesting.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, so we do have some replacements in mind for starting pitching. It not just limited to Spencer Strider and Shane Bieber. There's a lot of pitchers that went down, like we mentioned, Josiah Gray and Framber Valdez. So the first guy that we want to talk about is Cody Bradford. Now, Cody Bradford. Notes.
Killing it.
Drafted in 2019 in the 6th round, so pretty late by the Texas Rangers. Currently, so when I did my notes yesterday, he was 55% owned, probably a little bit higher now because people are actually starting to believe in him, but he is available in a lot of leagues, so under 60% owned. So far in 2024, he's had 2 starts with a 2.13 ERA, 12.2 innings pitched, 5 hits allowed, 3 earned runs, 1 home run, 1 walk to 10 Ks, a .47 whip. That's incredible, Let's see. His first, his 2 starts that he's had was versus the Cubs, and the Cubs have been actually pretty hot this season. A lot of people think that they're going to win the division. So for him to go out and throw 5 innings and only allow 2 earned runs, 1 walk, and 6 Ks, that's amazing, for a guy that's kind of like unheard of. Like, a lot of people don't know the name Cody Bradford, but
I'm one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he pitched yesterday too, and he won.
Oh, really?
So I didn't. Yeah, so he's 3-0, bro.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad
even
at all. Last year, you see, he was a 5.30 ERA in 20 games. He only made 8 starts, so he was in the bullpen for majority of the season. But that 5.30 ERA, that's crazy. That's kind of scary. So I'm wondering, last season when Cole Reagans got traded to the Royals, when he became a starter, that's when he kind of like broke out. You know, he had his breakout season with the new team, and now he's considered a top 10 pitcher. He's actually number 10 on MLB's top starting pitchers for 2024.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
crazy, man. So now looking at Cody Bradford, could we be seeing something similar? You know, I don't know, but so far he's looking really good. He has an expected batting average against of 172, expected ERA of 189. That's even lower than his actual ERA. The walk percentage is below MLB average, 6% below MLB average, which is freaking amazing. 22.7% K percentage, which is right in line with MLB average. So he's looking really good, dude. Especially, you know, seeing him go 7.2 innings against the Astros, only allowing 2 hits, no walks. You know, the Astros having no walks against the Astros, you know, for the common fan, that doesn't really sound like an amazing feat, but the Astros walk so much. They are I want to say it's like the top 5 teams that walk more, you know, than the rest of the 30 teams. So, or the rest of the 29. But yeah, having 0 walks against this team, I don't know if this guy's just living in the zone or he's just getting that many swings and misses. Only had 4 strikeouts, and the Astros don't really strike out too much, so I'm not really worried about that too much. But just seeing him, you know, only allowing 1 run to a really good team that's in the playoffs every season. They have some stars, some really good stars. Yohan Alvarez, Kyle Tucker, Alex Bregman, who was my breakout pick for this season. Sleeper pick for this season also at the third base position. You know, I'm really digging Cody Bradford, man. If he was available in any of the leagues that I play in, I would have probably picked him up last week, but unfortunately I was a little bit late to the party.
Well, we needed to see a little bit more, I think. But I mean, the way that he pitched, even against the Cubs, bro, who are an actual playoff contending team now. You know, they have some decent pieces. You know, even you know, against those 2 teams, Houston and Chicago, like he lit them up, dude. And you know, what can you say? If you can pitch against Houston, you know, like that's it's a big feat, you know, for somebody that's very unknown. Like, I didn't really know about Cody Bradford until probably this season.
Yeah.
You know, and
last season was actually his rookie season. First time he made it to the show. Let's see, where is it at? Is it on the wrong side? No. 20. Oh, I did say this already. 20 games, 8 starts last season. A majority in the bullpen. So faced 234 batters total. That 5.30 ERA was, you know, it was scary, you know, for, you know, if this guy was already on the radar before this. But I was kind of like just like trying to figure out like what's different about Cody Bradford this season, you know, versus last season. And I don't know if you noticed this, but he actually added a curveball. He didn't have a curveball last season, didn't throw it at all. And so far this season, he's thrown it 15% of the time. It's the velocity is only 76.1 miles per hour. So that's actually perfect for a curveball because, you know, it looks like it's coming in high in the zone and then just drops. So he's thrown 26 so far, not including yesterday's start, and 11.1% whiff rate and a 42-degree launch angle. So he's getting a lot of pop-ups on that curveball. I wonder if he's throwing it like really high and it's kind of just like either dropping in the zone or it's making these guys just swing at it when it's really high to get those pop-ups.
Yeah. I mean, he did something, you know, and you kind of hope, like, you know, for those that were able to scoop him up or haven't scooped him up yet and are thinking about it, you know, he might have tweaked a couple things about his game, and you know, maybe it's clicking. You know, it's that 5.3 ERA is a little scary. So, you know, I still think, you know, we're early in the season. You know, let's see what else he could do, right? You know, let's see. But if you're trying to replace somebody like Bieber or, you know, Strider right now, and Bradford is out there available, he's probably the one guy that you want to shoot for, definitely.
unless Crochet is out there. I don't think Crochet
Crochet.
is available
Crochet's
anywhere. I think
Yeah.
he's close to like 90% rostered now. So that was very short lived. You know, people
Yeah,
caught up to him
like a week.
very, very fast. Yeah, exactly. Um, so one thing that I also did notice about Cody Bradford that's a little bit scary as well is he allows a lot of fly balls. 39.4% of his the batted balls against are fly balls. League average is at 23.5%, so that's about 15% higher than league average. But I mean, he still could be effective because we see guys like Max Scherzer, who is also a fly ball pitcher, and he's had Cy Young caliber seasons almost every single season. Before he got a little bit injury prone, and we'll see. He's actually on the same team as Cody Bradford.
Yeah.
They could
Dude,
be
that's
together.
awesome, bro. Like that's somebody that you can like just go and hey, I need to work on this. What do I do?
Yeah.
Same type of pitcher, fly ball pitcher,
Wow.
dude, and he's got the Rangers to back him up, bro. So
Mhm.
the runs are not going to be an issue.
And
That-
DeGrom
that's
coming
great.
back too. Another
Oh
great
my
arm
God.
to be learning from.
Dude, I hope we can see a fully healthy DeGrom, bro. I miss seeing DeGrom pitch, man.
Yeah. I miss
I'm
the long
stoked
hair.
about
I miss the
Yeah, I'm
long hair.
stoked, bro. I'm stoked
Locks.
about that. Maybe that's why he got injured so much, bro. Once he cut that hair, he started getting
It's like
injured a lot,
Samson,
bro.
right?
Seriously, dude. That's crazy.
All right, so that was the first pitching replacement that we had in mind. The second is, I don't think this guy's available really anywhere either. When I checked yesterday, he was 78% rostered, so a little bit more than Cody Bradford. If you missed out on Ronel Blanco, sorry. He had that no hitter on April 1st, and I feel like a lot of people were probably picking him up as a streamer because they didn't really expect too much from him, considering he had a 4.50 ERA last season and a 7.11 ERA the season before. Going out and pitching a no hitter against Toronto, that
Mhm.
Toronto looks like a scary lineup on paper, and I know they always, they're very streaky. This was before like Bichette and Vlad kind of like started their little hot streak because it looks like they're finally starting to like come around. But still, dude, 9 innings, 7 Ks, 2 walks, no hits, and it was less than 100 pitches that he threw in 9
Yeah.
innings.
That's crazy. That's efficiency right there. That's
Big
how you pitch, dog.
And he's 30 years
know?
old, dude. 30
That's
years
crazy.
old. That's crazy because he made his debut when he was 28. That's like you don't think of guys like that finally having like a breakout season. And we saw Domingo German last season also hit got a no hitter. So no hitters, sometimes it just happens to
Yeah.
not very good pitchers. But then he
Yeah.
goes out on April 7th at Texas, throws 6 innings, 4 strikeouts, 4
One
walks.
hitter.
That's a little bit scary, and
Yeah.
only 1 hit in 6
One
innings.
hitter.
1 hit.
Yeah, that's
against the
crazy.
Mets at
And
Texas.
the walks, yeah, the walks are a little that kind of threw me off a bit. But against the Rangers, damn. Okay. The little Texas rivalry there,
Mhm.
but that's awesome, dude. Like for you to go out there and usually when you have a big game like a no-hitter, like the next game might not be as great as that no-hitter. But
Usually
man,
they
this one
get
came
blown
around.
up.
Yeah, and you're going up against world champs. You're thinking, oh man, he's gonna get lit up. Nope.
Yeah. I mean, I think one thing that also helped him is he was under 100 pitches in that no-hitter, so his arm wasn't as fatigued as, if he would have thrown 120 something, 130,
Yeah.
which is
Yep.
usually what we see when guys are throwing no-hitters.
No-hitter.
Usually you don't really see that in the beginning of the season either. It's usually when after they're completely stretched out, a little bit warmer. But I think he got a little bit lucky, being
Yeah.
able to get through the innings so fast. 7 strikeouts in 9 innings pitched versus Toronto. So the strikeouts aren't really there, but it's possible that they could be in the future. I think his whiff percentage is actually pretty good. He has a 35.3% whiff percentage on his changeup and 25% on his slider, 18.5 on the four seam on this fastball. So those are his 3 primary pitches that he throws most often. He also has a curveball, which he throws in there once in a while, but you're not really going to see that often. So, just like I said with Cody Bradford, I was trying to figure out what changed for Ronel Blanco. So it looks like the slider and changeup usage have swapped a little bit. So in 2023, Ronel Blanco was throwing the slider 48.6% of the time. That's a lot. That's about half of his pitches were sliders. So that was his dominant pitch. But this season so far, he's only been throwing it 25% of the time. That's a 23% drop from last season. And then you look at the changeup, he was only throwing it 9% of the time in 2023, and that's all the way up to 32.8%, a 24%.
Oh, so I see. Okay.
So I feel like he's probably a little bit more confident in his changeup now, and he's mixing up his pitches. As a reliever, if you have two pitches that you go out and throw all the time, that's fine. But as a starting pitcher, you're trying to get through the lineup 3 times. You need to have more than 2 pitches, and it looks like he's up there, man. The 4-seam this season is at 39%, and then you got the slider and the changeup at 25 and 33% now. So
he's got a good mix.
Got a pretty good mix, man. Got a pretty good mix. So if you were lucky enough to get Ronel Blanco, congratulations.
Kudos to you.
Kudos to you. Seriously, that was great pickup. Definitely hold on to him. Don't get too discouraged about the walks, because we saw Blake Snell go out and have 99 walks, led the league in walks for pitchers, and he won the Cy Young.
Cy Young.
Yeah. So unfortunately, in points leagues, those walks, sometimes they catch up to you, but I think that with the team that he has behind him, giving him the run support, you're probably going to see a lot of wins from Ronel Blanco as long as he stays in the rotation.
Yep.
All right, moving on to our third starting pitcher on the top 5 most added list is Tanner Houck. When I checked this yesterday, he was 72% rostered. First round draft pick in 2017, number 24 overall from the Boston Red Sox. Tanner Houck was good in 2021. He was a little bit better in 2022. But he was terrible in 2023. He was on no one's radar in going into drafts in 2024. I feel like he was just kind of like a streaming option. Go against the weaker teams. So in 2023, he had 21 starts with a 5.01 ERA, a 137 WHIP. Terrible. 106 innings pitched, allowed 104 hits. That's about a hit per inning. A lot, dude. 59 earned runs, 14 home runs in 106 innings. Now, when I say terrible, that's pretty freaking terrible, man. Like, he should have been sent down to the minors with the quickness, but Boston really wasn't like anything to be scared of last season. So, they were just going out there and running with him, So far, I've noticed that he's ditched the 4-seamer completely. Relies on 2 main pitches, his slider and the sinker, and he mixes in some splitters and cutters, which actually makes a lot of sense considering opponents batted 325 versus his 4-seamer last year. And it looks like the Red Sox have found his Achilles heel, and maybe they fixed it, maybe not. I think that's still, like, we still need some more data to really see if he's actually been fixed. But let's see.
He hasn't allowed any runs. He has no earned runs.
Still? Wow, I didn't even realize that. That's crazy. I do have him in 2 of my leagues, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, I seen that. I was trying to look for his ERA, and I'm like, where the hell is it? Like, there's no ERA.
That's because it's a 0.
Yep.
So Tanner Houck tops out at around 93, 94 miles an hour on his fastballs. So it's not like he's getting a lot of whiffs anyway. So it's probably a good thing that he ditched that fastball. The sinker looks like it's doing its job. Tanner Houck, it's sitting at a 64% ground ball rate on the sinker, while limiting the fly balls and line drives down to 16% each. So
A lot of double
That's
plays.
that's great for Boston because of the wall, the green monster in left field. If you're hitting it on the ground, you're definitely not hitting it over the monster. Hitting it over the monster is actually not that hard to do as long as you're putting the ball in the air and you're hitting it, somewhat hard. And then right field isn't, too much worse. So I feel like Boston is actually a very easy place to hit home runs. So ground ball pitchers is definitely the best.
Yeah.
Best situation, I think, for Boston and for Coors Field and Cincinnati. It's strikeouts and ground balls are the recipe for success.
Yeah.
He's also increased his K percentage to 37.8%. That's 16% higher than last year and 7% higher than than his previous career high. So I like Tanner Houck. Unfortunately, he's already over 70% rostered, so he's probably not going to be available in a lot of leagues. So if you were lucky enough to get him, that's good for you. But I'd also be looking on the waiver wire, see if anyone drops him. Maybe they lose some faith in him, and if he gets roughed up by a good team, I wouldn't really worry about it so much if he's already on your team. But if someone does drop him, I would definitely put him on my watch list to, at least have him on my team. You don't necessarily have to start him if you don't want to. If you think that it's a bad matchup or whatever, just get him on your bench, and that way you can at least know that no one else in the league is gonna be snatching him up before you can.
Word. Yeah. Hawk is a decent option too. I like one of the other two guys that you're gonna talk about. Not the Phillies guy.
Not the Phillies guy. All right.
Not the Phillies guy.
Let's start with the Phillies guy. You want to take this one?
Turnbull, Spencer Turnbull, just signed with the Phillies this season, right?
Yeah, he's been with Detroit. I think his
with
whole
the Tigers.
Career.
Yeah. I mean, he's pitched what, 2 games, I think.
Yeah, that's what I have here. It was versus Cincinnati on April 2nd and at St. Louis on April 8th.
Yeah, and one of them wasn't. He didn't get a decision, so he's only 1-0. He has no earned runs as well. I was looking for that, no earned runs and 13 strikeouts. I just kind of go off of what he did with the Tigers, and I'm just like, I got to see more. The dudes at work, who are Philly fanatics, they're very happy with this dude. I'm like, yo, just give it some time, bro.
Yeah. The same thing with Lorenzen. They were so happy with Lorenzen last season, and
that's exactly where I was going with that.
Another downer. So
and wasn't Lorenzen with the Tigers too before he went to the Phillies?
Yeah, he was.
I was like, yo, you got to watch that.
Yeah, it was the Reds, the Tigers, and then the Phillies, I think.
Yeah, so I told the guys that I talked to at work about baseball, you know what, just give it some time, man. Wow. And nothing really sticks out for me to where I'm like, yeah, I gotta go get him because he's 1-0 with no earned runs and 13 strikeouts, dude. They're a kind of weird team. On one day, some days they look great, like playoff, contending team, championship caliber team, and then there's other days that you lose to the Nationals, and you're like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah.
What is going on with this team, man? They have so much talent, and I just don't understand how they can't put it together for for consecutive games. It's like I said, one day they're good, one day they're not. So, Turnbull. I mean, if you're in need of a pitcher streaming against a bad team, yes. Other than that, I wouldn't really look into Turnbull. In my opinion.
I don't know if I would even pick him up against like a weak team. I just don't trust him, man. I was looking at all of his underlying numbers, percentages and expected everything, and everything looks exactly the same as previous seasons. So I don't really see anything to be excited about with Spencer Turnbull.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know what else to say. He has a 66.7% hard hit rate allowed, so he's allowing a lot of hard contact. I think that he's just been getting pretty lucky, and I wouldn't expect anything good from Spencer Turnbull towards the end of the season. Maybe he could be on like somewhat of a little hot streak right now, so I wouldn't mind riding the hot streak if he was already on my team, but I'm not wasting one of my pickups just to go after a guy that is very mid that I really don't trust at all. All right, moving on to our next guy. We have from the Los Angeles Angels, Reed Detmers. Reed Detmers, I believe it was either last season or the season before, had a no-hitter as well. So two guys that have no-hitters on our list today.
I lost you, bro.
Yeah, I see your camera kind of going in and out. I don't know if it's mine or yours, but I don't know. Hopefully it'll fix itself. So Reed Detmers at 72% rostered. That's a 40% increase from last week. Drafted in 2020, round 1, number 10 overall from the Angels. Dude, where the hell did Reed Detmer's strikeouts come from? He has a 45.8% whiff rate on his fastball. That's up from 21.2% in 2023. Has a 40% whiff rate on his slider. That is up from 33.8% in 2023, and 27.3% on the curveball, which is basically the same as last year. 41.7% whiff rate on the changeup compared to 24.6% last year. I know it's a small sample size, but I feel like he's a former first-round pick, and there's the Angels saw something in him that could just be coming to fruition now, 4 years after he got drafted. So let's see if we can get Javi back. Oh, remove this one. All right, you back, man?
Damn, what happened?
I don't know. There was two of you. You got a twin that I don't know about?
Double the pleasure, bro.
All right, so yeah, I'm just going over Reed Detmers. It looks like his changeup is actually moving less than last year with the same velocity. So I don't really know why the sudden whiff percentage increase. He's only thrown 24 changeups since in this season so far. So I think we'll need a little bit more data, more action from him to really see if anything is actually different from previous seasons. But in 4 starts in September 2023, he had a 1.82 ERA with 26 Ks and 24 innings. And it looks like he's just continued from where he left off in 2023. So far in 2 starts, he has a 1.64 ERA, 19 Ks and 11 innings.
Yeah, he's a strikeout guy for sure.
This season he is.
I hope he puts it together. I mean, if anybody knows the Angels, Ernie, that their weakness or their Achilles has always been their pitching.
Mm-hmm.
They can never get that one guy, that one solid ace. They never really had a 1-2 punch. So if Reed Detmers and who's the other guy, Canning, I think.
Yeah.
If they can kind of put it together, that's something to write about. I like Reed Detmers. I could kind of see him also matchup based, depending on how these next couple of starts go with him. But so far his numbers look good, man. Only 4 walks and 19 strikeouts. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
but
he also has one hit by pitch.
Of course.
Little one, but
yeah.
7 Ks at the Orioles and 12 Ks versus Boston. So 12 Ks in 6 innings. That's pretty incredible to see from a guy that's not really known as a strikeout pitcher. He had 168 strikeouts in 148 innings last season. So a little bit more than a strikeout per inning, but now he's basically double strikeouts from his innings total this season. So I don't know. I want to see a couple more starts from Reed Detmers to really actually start to trust him. I think 72% rostered is a little bit high for Reed Detmers. I don't think that he should be rostered in that many leagues, but we'll see.
With all
We'll
the
see.
injuries, bro,
Yeah, with all the injuries,
know,
you're right.
I think that's why the percentage is as high as it is, because maybe a lot of people have a lot of these dudes that are hurt, and if you can find somebody that's kind of hot, you ride the wave.
Yeah,
Ride the hot streak.
That's what fantasy's all about, man. You live on the waiver wire and you take chances, and
You
sometimes it
live and
works out,
die
and
by
sometimes
the
it
waiver
doesn't.
wire, bro. Yes, sir.
Hey,
I agree.
that's how you win fantasy baseball. You have to be
Yes.
active on the waiver wire. You can't
Yes.
just do your draft and then leave it. This isn't best ball. You need to be on
No.
there every single day. And if you have a
Every day.
transactions limit, use it sparingly. Like I know in one of my leagues, or I think it's in your league, we only have 3 transactions per week, 4. And
4. Yep.
in our Real Talk Baseball league, it's 7. In one of my
Mhm.
other leagues, it's unlimited, and then in another league, it's 12, which is a really weird number, especially for a points league. But
Weird number.
It's a very weird number. Like 12, that's a lot.
Yeah,
Dude.
that's kind of weird.
12 transactions per week. Yeah, I don't know. I did increase the IL spots this season
Yes.
in our Real Talk Baseball league. So we actually have 4 IL spots for everyone in the league. I feel like because of this
Good thing.
epidemic, so many injuries, seeing from last year and carrying over into this year, I feel like every team needed that. And dude, I have all 4 of my spots filled up, and I have 2 more guys on the injured list. I actually just dropped Sean Murphy today because I just got an alert that he's still not swinging a bat. So I ended up picking up Ivan Herrera from the Cardinals. So Wilson Contreras is out right now. So if you lost Wilson Contreras, or if you just need a catcher in general, I like Ivan Herrera. So check him out. That he's he had a really good batting average.
Probably
last season.
available.
Yeah. He's 0% rostered in Yahoo. So he's definitely available. The Cardinals have said that he's definitely going to get a lot of appearances behind the plate. And the bat's solid, dude. He's not a big power hitter, but he does get stolen bases, and he bats around 300. So if you want a 300 hitter and 10 to 15 stolen bases and maybe a couple home runs throughout the season from your catcher, that's a decent replacement right there.
There you go.
So now moving on to Luis Robert out. Or Luis Robert. I keep doing that. Luis Robert.
Robert, bro.
6 to 8 weeks for a top
Damn.
outfielder that people probably drafted in the 2nd or 3rd round. That's a hard hit, man. Especially when outfielders, there's not really a lot out there. I know there's some hot plays out there, like Brandon Marsh is available. He looks like he changed up his swing a little bit. He's trying to move his head a little bit less, more compact to the ball, just trying to get some wood on the ball. So he's a decent option, but I have a couple other options that I think are a little bit better than Brandon Marsh. But do you want to take this first? Who's your outfield replacement option?
So I have one guy who I believe I had at the beginning of the season, and then I ended up dropping him. I don't know how long he can keep this up, but so far, Jurickson Profar from the Padres, man, he is raking right now. I don't have the stats in front of me, but fantasy-wise, he's got 15 hits, he's got 5 doubles, 2 home runs, 10 RBIs. He's walked 7 times, which is great. He does have a grand slam, but yeah, man. If we're talking about outfield, most top outfielders are probably already rostered. And Jurickson Profar, as far as Yahoo goes, he's only 6% rostered, so he's available. If
Now-
you're in need of an outfielder,
I remember in previous seasons he was outfield, second base, and I think shortstop eligible also. Do you know his eligibility?
It's just outfield as far
Just
as
outfield
yeah,
now.
yeah, as far as Yahoo is concerned, it's just outfield.
All right.
Um,
I mean,
Jurickson Profar, when he came up, he was a big name, right? You
mhm,
know, he was a
supposed
big
to be.
big prospect. And he's kind of taking a backseat. He's been injured a lot. But I mean, from the looks of it, he's putting it together on a great Padres team offensively. So yeah, that was the one guy that kind of popped out to me. Brandon Marsh was another one, but he's kind of, I don't know, he's kind of for me.
Yeah. I I like what I see from Brandon Marsh in terms of the changing of the batting stance. He's not moving his head so much and trying to just keep his eye more on the ball. Um, his batting average is actually pretty good, but he just doesn't have enough power for me to really think it's worth it. And he strikes out a lot. So if you're not
Yeah.
hitting dingers and you strike out a lot, I think you belong on the waiver wire and you're going to stay there. Looking at Jurickson Profar, so far he is batting 333 with a 434 on base percentage, a 1012 OPS. So he's looking pretty good, like you said, man. The thing with Profar, like you said, like he's in the past he's been like one of those guys that he's going to be this is going to be his breakout season,
Yeah.
and they were
We're
talking
still
about
waiting.
it a lot. And yeah, exactly. We're still waiting, and he's what, like let's see, he's 31 years old. So I don't know how much longer we can really wait unless this is the year. But Jurickson Profar, it looks like the Padres really like him, man, because he was with the Padres. Let's see, from 2020 until 2022, so 3 seasons, and then he signs a 1-year deal with Colorado, and then gets traded to San Diego mid-season, and yeah, he's still with the team. So it looks like San Diego really sees something in Profar that other teams really didn't. If Colorado's the only team that's offering you the contract, it's, I don't know, that doesn't really say much for your value, but
Right.
maybe this could be the year that he breaks out. You never know. We've seen that before when older guys kind of like break out and kind of carry it into free agency, or whatever the case may be. 333 batting average in 15 games so far. So, hot start. It's a good thing he plays in San Diego, not home run wise, because that park is bad for home runs, but at least he plays in a warmer ballpark where, it's, the hands don't get so cold. So he's not afraid to swing or not afraid to take one a little bit inside. But, yeah, Profar is decent. I'm going a lot younger, and I'm actually going with a guy that we talked about a couple weeks ago on the Prospect podcast, and that is one of the Jacksons, Jackson Merrill. So he's 49% rostered as of yesterday. First round pick, number 27 overall. Same team as Profar. He plays for the Padres. In 14 games so far, he's batting 300 with a 378 on base percentage and an 803 OPS. Has 12 hits, 10 runs, 1 home run, 2 RBI, 5 walks to 10 Ks, and 1 stolen base. So this is the Jackson of the 3 rookie Jacksons that I recommended a couple weeks ago. The strikeouts are a little bit higher than expected, considering his strikeout percentage in the minors was extremely low. But I think it'll all balance out in the end. I think that it could just be like jitters, from his major league debut. And, he's on a decent team where there's a lot of veterans on the team that can kind of like guide him, I know that Jackson Holiday and Jackson Churio have more upside, but even so, last season between 2 levels in the minors, Merrill had a 15-15 season with 25 doubles, only 62 strikeouts in 114 games. We know the Padres are a running team with guys like Tatis that had 29 stolen bases and Ha-Seong Kim that had 38 last season, leading the way for the Padres to be 9th overall in stolen bases last season. So I don't think that the Padres are one to stop Jackson Merrill from running. You know, if he had 15 stolen bases in only, what did I say, 114 games last season? Yeah, 114
Yeah.
games last season. I think that he could actually surpass that number, you know, as long as the Padres are willing to like continue to let their players keep on running.
Let them do their thing,
Let him do his thing.
man.
Yeah, let him do his thing.
Yeah, damn.
All right, so that was
Because
my
sometimes something as simple as stealing a base can get you going,
yeah.
hitting wise too. So, I've seen a lot of these players that are on, these fast guys that are on teams that no stolen bases. Like, dude, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
let your guys run, man. What the hell?
Yeah, I see some of these guys on Statcast that have like 90th percentile in sprint speed, and then they end up with like, 10 stolen bases when they should be having 30, 30,
Yeah.
40 stolen bases, and then you have guys like Freddie Freeman, one of the slowest first basemen in the league, and he ends up having like 15 last season.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah,
I just
it's
don't get it. I don't get
yeah,
it.
I don't get it either. I bet Freddie Freeman is the type of guy that even if they don't send him, if he thinks that he has an opportunity to run, he's just going to take it. And I feel like managers
No.
like Dave Roberts, they know like I trust Freddie Freeman because I know that he is a good base runner. It's not just about sprint speed, it's about the jump that you get and the lead that you take and knowing, the pitcher's tendencies. If he's going to quick pitch, then of course you can't really get a good jump on a guy like that. Like we know that Johnny Cueto in the past was really notorious for, quick pitching to try to like hold the runners. And
hmm
I feel like Freddie Freeman's smart enough where he can kind of outsmart the pitcher a little bit, maybe the
Yeah.
pitcher and
Yeah.
the catcher.
He's an OG, man. He knows what he's doing.
All right, so that was our outfield replacements, and we have one more segment that we want to go over. And Hobby, I'm going to have you go first. So this is our player spotlight. So there's been a lot of players this season that have kind of like stood out a little bit, but they're still a little bit under the radar, either because they're on weak teams or, they just don't really get talked about too often because they get lost in the shuffle with the Dodgers powerhouse team and all these injuries that are coming up. So go ahead with your player spotlight.
All right. So, if you're a Reds fan, then you probably heard about this guy. Doesn't get talked about a lot because they got Ellie De La Cruz over there, which is like the hot ticket. Spencer Steer, man, he is killing it right now. Batting average 372, has 16 hits, 4 doubles, 1 triple, 3 home runs, 15 RBI, 2 stolen bases, 1192 OPS, and he can play first, second, third, and outfield. What the hell, man? Like, this dude can play the entire outfield or
So valuable.
the entire infield and the outfield, bro. Like, and like I said, like a lot of people are not talking about Spencer Steer. Why? I have no idea because everybody's talking about Ellie De La Cruz. But this is the guy that I feel is giving the Reds, he's the one that's kind of helping them out more than De La Cruz. De La Cruz is he's kind of coming around. He had a two homer night a couple days ago, inside the Parker, which was pretty cool. But
Yeah.
that his stats really pop up to me. Like we talked about him when we did the rankings. I forgot where we put him in the rankings. So what position?
He was pretty
'Cause
low. He was pretty
But
low.
but what was it for? Like first, second,
It was
third,
first
or
base. Yeah, it was
I
first
don't
base.
remember. Okay, so he was down there. I do remember that. So, man, he's putting it together, dude. If he can keep going the way he's going, holy crap. That was my guy, and I'm gonna give you an extra, and this one is for Ernie. Mike Trout, dude. Holy crap. 318 batting average, 6 home runs, tied for the league lead, I think. Only 8 RBIs, but that's because, the Angels don't really put guys on base, which kind of sucks. 2 stolen bases, and a 1.195 OPS. Dude, if Mike Trout, I would love to see a fully healthy Mike Trout for a full season, bro. I know he's gonna have his off days, obviously health concerns, health reasons, or whatnot. But man, Mike Trout, a healthy Mike Trout, can we see a Mike Trout caliber season? Finally, you know, man. That I'm really excited about Trout, man. And he's 32. Yeah. This is a resurgence type of season, I hope.
Now, I do want to ask Ernie, how often is Mike Trout playing DH? Because I don't really pay attention too much to the Angels, you know.
Yeah,
because I'm in fantasy baseball, you know, I pay more attention to individual players versus like whole teams, you know. That's Carlos and Ernie's show. But since Ernie is a huge Angels fan, I did want to ask him, like, is he still playing center field every day? I mean, I guess I could just look on Fangraphs and see how many starts he's had in center field and how many starts he's had at DH. But I really hope that he is more willing to DH more often, because the Angels need him to be healthy, man. Imagine if he goes down again.
Yeah.
There's no one else on the team. You know, everyone's talking crap about Anthony Rendon, about his comments about, you know, being a major leaguer and not really taking this, like, he doesn't want to be there. He said it's just a paycheck to him, unfortunately. Yeah. And then on the other side, you have guys that are so passionate about the sport, like Mike Trout, and has gone on record to say, like, this is my team. You know, I'm not going anywhere. After signing like that 12-year deal with the Angels, you know, it made it definitely obvious that he was ready to retire with the Angels. Started with the Angels, they gave him a shot, and he's not even a first-round pick, man. Even though he's been known to be the best baseball player every single year for like 10 years in a row, I think he got drafted like in the 7th round. You know, and not in fantasy, like in real life when he first started. You know, he was drafted in the later rounds, and he was the only one that actually showed up to the draft that season. Every other player was at home waiting for the call. He was the only one that was actually there in person to actually, like, you know, receive his jersey and everything. So that's actually crazy. That's a testament to him to show, like, you know, how
that's like
not the game.
That's like Tom Brady-esque, bro. You know, Tom Brady drafted in the 6th round, and he is the fucking GOAT. Sorry, he's the GOAT. You know, what can you say? And Trout, like you said, for like 10, 11 seasons, man, he was the guy. He was baseball, bro. Everybody talked about Mike Trout. Mm-hmm. You know, and then the injuries started piling up, and, you know, age starts to kind of, you know, diminish your skills. You know, it takes a little bit longer for you to recuperate from these injuries, man. But if we can get a full season of Mike Trout, man, 150 games, I'll be happy with that. Yeah, I'll be happy with that.
You didn't,
you know.
I think it was
those were my 2 guys. I gave Ernie a bonus. I gave you a bonus. That's for you, Ernie.
So I think it was a couple seasons ago, might have been last season, where Mike Trout only played half the season. I think he played like 80 games, and he had 40 home runs already. So imagine this guy plays a whole season, man.
Oh my God, man!
Dude, double that. Gives him 80 home runs. Man,
that's crazy.
I could only imagine.
That's crazy.
I also imagine this year he gets drafted. I think it was 2012, something like that. Is that right? 2012?
Yeah, something like
that.
It
was either 2011, 2012. And, you know, he gets drafted by the Angels. Imagine he were to get drafted by a team that was actually a playoff contender every single season, you know? Or,
dude, he would have had a couple rings already.
Yeah. Dude, imagine if he was, like, drafted by the Giants, you know, when they were, like, every other year they were going to the World Series and winning. Like, he could be, like, the next Barry Bonds in San Francisco, you know.
Yeah. That would have been sweet, bro.
It would have
sucked for us Dodger fans. Yeah. But, you know, we'd have to see him every year, man.
Yeah. All right, so that was Mike Trout and Spencer Steer. Moving on to my player spotlight. So in 2020, we started losing a lot of trust in Christian Yelich, and he had the back thing. He only batted 205 with a 786 OPS. And this is when Christian Yelich was like a bona fide first round pick coming off in 2019. Yelich batted 329 with 1100 OPS, 44 home runs, and 30 stolen bases in only 130 games. And this was after he batted 326 with 1,000 OPS, 36 home runs, and 22 stolen bases, 147 games in 2018. Christian Yelich was elite, like for sure, first round pick every single season in fantasy. Fast forward to 2020, Yelich batted 205 with a 786 OPS, but it was the shortened season. He hit 12 home runs in 58 games, so that's actually pretty damn good right there. That shows a lot of power. But his batting average sucked. He was still producing, a lot of counting stats. So we just kind of wrote it off as a fluke. 2020 season, there's a lot of guys that were either doing really bad or really good that are usually the opposite. So didn't really take that one to heart. Fast forward again to 2021, batting average was a little bit better, but he only had 9 home runs with a 735 OPS in 117 games. So really started to lose trust in Christian Yelich after the 2021 season. 2022 rolls around, and it's basically the same thing. 252 batting average, 738 OPS with 14 home runs in 147 games. But then 2023, Christian Yelich did one of those fooled yous. He had batting average looks a little bit better, a solid 278 batting average with 19 home runs. But he had the second highest stolen base total of his career, 28 stolen bases last season. And this is when this dude's already like 32 years old. Yeah. He's 32 now. So he was 31 at the time when he's stealing 30 bags still, Now in 2024, Christian Yelich is batting 316 with an 1146 OPS, 5 home runs so far with 2 stolen bases in only 10 games. And this is after he was on a steady decline.
If you can keep that up.
Everyone was just losing trust in Christian Yelich, just like everyone lost trust in Cody Bellinger. And Bellinger had that breakout season last season also. But honestly, I think I trust Christian Yelich just a little bit more than I trust Cody Bellinger. Actually, a lot more. Because Cody Bellinger, I never really liked Cody Bellinger. He was on the Dodgers, and he was there when the Dodgers won the World Series in 2020, and he was former MVP. He was good, but the strikeouts and the golf swing, just the uppercut swing, it's just I never really liked him. My mom even asked me. She was like, "Oh, for your birthday, do you want a Cody Bellinger jersey?" Nah, I'm good. I'm all right. If you want to get me a jersey, I'll take a Justin Turner or a Kershaw jersey. Like those guys were the guys that I was like really excited about at the time. But. Now, fast forward, I have a Freddie Freeman jersey, I have a Mookie Betts jersey, I have an Ohtani jersey, so I'm a collector in that sense. But Christian Yelich, I feel like I can actually see him maybe not being like that, like the MVP material again, because he hit 44 home runs in that season. I don't think he's going to be able to do that again. But just seeing what he did in 2023, if he can stay healthy, I think that we could see 25 to 30 home runs from Christian Yelich with another 30 to 35 stolen bases with a 280 to 300 batting average, something a lot closer to his MVP season than we saw in 2021 and 2022.
Dude, that'd be awesome. That would be
awesome. I really like Christian Yelich. He is 98% rostered, so he's definitely not available for anyone that is trying to pick him up. But if you get offered a trade for Christian Yelich, because someone else just doesn't trust him or, whatever it is, I would highly, highly consider it. Like if, let's say if I was offered Christian Yelich for, I don't know, what's a good pitcher out there? I would say Justin Steele, but he's on the IL right now. So, I don't know. I can't think of any like starting pitchers right now that I could really like think about that were, that are really good, but I do trust Christian Yelich, and I think that he's going to have another really good year, and then That's great for
Yeah,
him and for the Brewers. Unfortunately, he's not a free agent until 2030, so he's going to be in a Brewers uniform for a while.
He's another one. He's another one of those that was kind of the big talk when Mike Trout was like the big talk, you know. So, you know, it kind of goes hand in hand. You know, they both kind of on the decline of their, you know, their age and stuff like that, and you know the injuries. You know, you can see both of them kind of dealing with the injuries, and now you're seeing both of them are kind of like trying to make this little comeback. You know, trying to help their team out. You know, but at the same time, they're helping themselves out because it looks like, you know, they're finally fully healthy, and they're both producing, and they're both helping their teams win. You know, so you know, Yelich is a definite, like, I like Yelich. I've always liked Yelich, dude. He's a great hitter. He had power. He can steal, dude. He's an overall good player, man.
Yeah, really good defensively, also.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, he's been helping his team win. The Brewers are actually 8-3, so they're up there. I know the Pirates are leading the division, 9-3. I don't think the Pirates really have it yet. We'll see when Paul Skeens actually makes it to the big leagues, and I know they have they have some stars, you know, in Pittsburgh, but I still see the Cubs as like the top team. They are 7-5 currently, but I think when Justin Steele comes back, that's definitely going to help out a lot. Shota Imonaga is looking pretty good in the Cubs uniform. I think the Reds and the Pirates, maybe in like 3 years from now, those are going to be the top like two contending teams for the Central. They got a lot of young talent and very cheap young talent, you know, because a lot of them were drafted or taken in trades, so they're not paying a lot of money to these guys, so they will be able to spend some money and maybe go after some stars and get a more well-rounded roster. And I'm excited for the Reds and the Pirates for the future, dude.
Me too.
We know that the National League Central and the American League Central has just been kind of booty for the last like few seasons. Like there haven't really been like
took the words right out of my mouth.
Like the Guardians, you know, they went to the World Series a few seasons ago, back in like, what was that, like 2016, maybe 2015, 2016. That was almost 10 years ago. So it's been a really crappy division for a while. And, you know, the same thing with the NL Central. So, you know, it's been a long time since we've actually seen like some spark from any National League Central team. But you know, now it's looking like a pretty bright future for the Central, and there's definitely going to be some contenders for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, guys, we reached the end of the show. Before we log off, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you want to listen on the audio side, we are also available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and we just got onto iHeartRadio. So if you want to listen to the podcast on any of those and you want to be able to turn off your screen, not like YouTube, then go ahead and follow us on all of those. We also have Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok and X. So you can scan that QR code in the top right corner and it will take you to all of our social medias. For Javi and myself, we thank you guys for joining in on our show today, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks.